What's indeed going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Saturday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and we're mercifully very close to the NFL draft. What was it 10 days, 13 days? I don't know, something like that. But so everyone is on mock draft 96 right now. But as we get closer, information starts coming through, perspective starts coming through, some cracks in the armor start coming through. And it's good to see it reflected in different mock drafts. And we go through a bunch of them from different people because we do enjoy different perspectives because no one's perfect on this thing, right? No one bats 1,000. No one even bats 400 Ted Williams on draft stuff. But PFF Steve did up his latest where the Vikings move up for Jayden Daniels. It's good times there. Also, it gives us an excuse to use some of our favorite memes. But I did not make any mistakes. Only you play poorly. Also, I forgot we had this one. I forget the context other than, Parks and Rec, John Ralphio. I got run over by a Lexus. Good times. I think it's because we said that the Vikings and PFF are BFF frenemies sometimes. Just like Tom and John Ralphio. Anyways, but also PFF Steve, he's never heard this before. He kind of looks like Kenny Powers. There you go. But his mock draft. So Williams won. Drake May goes to the commies. Now the Vikings are able to get a trade done with New England. Now this could be a scenario. It's like maybe the Patriots are up here on Drake May, and since he's not there at 3, maybe they're like, okay, we'll do some business. We'll trade down, and we'll probably still get a quarterback at 11, and we'll go from there. So the Vikings move up. Now Steve only says picks number 11, 23. It's probably going to be more than that. Again, ideally, it wouldn't have to be the 2025 first rounder. The Vikings have 2 fourths, 2 fifths, are in line to have at least 2 third-round picks in 2025. So hopefully, like a smorgasbord of that would allow them to get up. But also, you have to figure in too that it's very likely that the Broncos, that the Raiders, and also potentially the Giants could be looking to move up. So could be the cost of doing business. But board analysis, Daniels' rushing ability and fundamentals give him a high floor as a player who can put a ton of stress on a defense. His arm talent is good enough to give him a decently high ceiling and make him worthy of a first-round bet to make. And, of course, Jayden Daniels are already very tight with Justin Frank and Jefferson. Now they could be that battery for a dozen years plus. It'd be fantastic. And, of course, Jayden Daniels won the Heisman last year. A true blue dual-threat quarterback, formerly at Arizona State, transferred to LSU, did great things with Brian Kelly, and also Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. Yes, the offense was freaking dynamite with LSU, but 38-12 passing last year, 40 touchdowns, 4 picks. That doesn't get talked about enough. 40-4, it's pretty good. And also, it again, not to poo-poo on Bo Nix, but I mean, LSU's offense was a vertical attacking passing offense. It wasn't underneath. It wasn't screens. It wasn't tunnel screens. It wasn't that, man. Also, 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards rushing it, and 10 touchdowns. Again, 21 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 years. Now, Daniels does need to learn how to slide, and that's something that we keep harping on. But the accuracy is there. The arm talent deep is good enough. And also, like I said, the running ability, I would put him on par with Lamar Jackson coming in, as well as RG3. And Daniels obviously a better pure passer than both of them coming into the National Football League. So, I mean, Jayden Daniels looking good in purple. Yeah, we'll take that, man. So, again, also, if the comp is only 11-23, all in. But also, if it's 11-23 and the future first rounder, fine. Also, I want it to be where the NFL becomes like the NBA, where you can protect a pick. So it would be the Vikings' first-round pick for 2025, but if it's a top 10 selection, the Vikings keep it, and then it just rolls over to the next year until it's not a top 10 pick. I wish that was the case. Anyways, actually, what is stopping teams from writing that in other than the other team not accepting it? Or would that be just a bad precedent? Who knows? But it gets interesting the rest of the way. So Harrison to the Cardinals, Neighbors to the Chargers. Although I feel like the Chargers are going to go O-line in this spot. They can get wide receiver later. Giants taking Joe Alt. Probably kicking him to the right side with Andrew Thomas on the left. Tennessee Titans, Talisa Fuaga, just put him in. At right tackle, maybe guard, whoever. You're good to go. Latu goes to the Falcons. First edge rusher off the board. So it's not Dallas Turner, but Latu, a little bit older, but if his medicals check out, he's good to go. Roma Dunzik. I feel like Rome to the Bears at 9 is the most mocked pick we've seen, but also makes the most sense, so I get it. The Jets take Brock Bowers, so an over-the-middle weapon and yards after catch weapon for Aaron Rodgers. So the Patriots at 11. They get J.J. McCarthy. Now, here's the question. So in Steve's scenario, the Vikings only give up 11 and 23 to get to 3. I think that's unlikely. So let's say it's 11, 23, and the 2025 first for Jayden Daniels at 3, or stick and pick and take McCarthy at 11. It's really close for me. Yeah, because at this point, I get it with McCarthy, but in terms of betting on pure ceiling, I don't think that McCarthy has the pure ceiling of a Daniels, even a Penix, even with the medicals, or a Drake May. That's where we're at. So basically, would you stick and pick and take McCarthy, keep your 2025 first rounder and 23, or roll the dice with Daniels that he could be transcendent? It's pretty close. But so the Patriots get McCarthy and they get Adonai Mitchell. I kind of like that. So they get AD. So they get a wide receiver 1 for McCarthy in that spot. It's pretty damn good. Broncos take Penix. I hate it. I hate when stupid-ass Sean Payton wins. Quinion goes to the Raiders. Fashan to the Saints. They need tackle help. Jared Verse goes to the Colts. So usually it's either – actually, I think it's almost exclusively cornerback to the Colts. A lot of these mock drafts, but Jared Verse. So what's interesting is that Dallas Turner is not even edge rusher 2. He's not edge rusher 1 in this mock. Fatanu staying in Seattle. They certainly could use his versatility and athleticism along the offensive line. Johnny Newton to the Jaguars. They just need some dude up front who can just win. Yeah, and Newton could do that. So, and then there's a run on defensive interiors. Murphy going to the Bengals. The Rams get Dallas Turner. I feel like that's a little bit unfair. That kind of annoys me. So Dallas Turner heads out there with Byron Young. I mean, that's not a bad young edge rushing duo. Mims goes to the Steelers. They definitely need a physical freak tackle. Barton goes to the Dolphins. Could play center, could play guard. Connor Williams' injury is concerning. And also they lost Robert Hunt. So Barton's going to kick inside and just be a kick-ass offensive lineman for years. Eagles finally get their corner, Terrion Arnold. Donnie, like we mentioned. JPJ goes to the Cowboys. I kind of like that. It reminds me of the Travis Frederick pick from, was it 2014, I want to say? Or no, it was one of those years. No, was 2014 Zach Martin? It really doesn't matter, I guess. Cooper DeJean goes to the Packers. I mean, the Packers would love Cooper DeJean. Nate Wiggins goes to the Bucks. They need some help at corner. Kool-Aid goes to the Cardinals. So the Cardinals come away with Harrison Jr. and Kool-Aid. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Buffalo Bills, what you come out tonight, so they take up Troy Franklin. So they got that vertical attacking receiver to help replace Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen. Also, they should probably draft 2 or 3 more receivers as well. We really need to get after things there. The Lions, this one annoys me because now we have Chop Robinson, Aiden Hutchinson together. It's pretty damn good. Latham goes to the Ravens. Again, Ravens just stick and pick and take BPA, and that's what happens, man. TJ Tampa goes to the Niners. I'm not really sold on TJ Tampa. Like, I know that he's got size. I know that the Brandon Browner comps are there, but, like, I don't know. I just feel like he's stunted. I just feel like he can't move. Anyways, BTJ goes to the Chiefs. So this would be just an abomination. Brian Thomas Jr. and his physical freaks tools goes to Mahomes at the end of the first round. For shame, everyone. And also, Bo Nix does not get drafted. So that's all. But like I said, it comes down to like maybe McCarthy slips. I feel like if McCarthy gets by 6 and the Giants, I think that he could take a little bit of a tumble because maybe the Broncos and the Raiders, that they don't see the value of a trade up. And maybe the Vikings would just stick and pick and take McCarthy in this spot. So it comes down to, do you roll the dice if you can get McCarthy and or Penix, or do you trade up to 3 and get Jayden Daniels? And again, 11-23 probably is not going to be enough, so we'll say 11-23 in that future first rounder. So personally, I would say F it, since the Vikings have never had a top 10 quarterback, and Daniels, like his ceiling is sky high. He is a true blue dual threat quarterback. Now, Kevin O'Connell would have to go all in on the unique skill set of Daniels. Now, Daniels could come in just as a pocket passer and operate the Vikings offense, but using his skill set as a runner would be imperative for Kevin O'Connell. And also, you don't overuse it because, I mean, I think durability is going to be a concern with Jayden Daniels. Not just because like he could add some weight to his frame. Oh, but he's a few pounds heavier than Kirk Cousins, sure. But Kurt isn't out there just hurling his body at 260-pound linebackers randomly, like Daniels has done the last 2 years at LSU. But he already looks good in purple and gold. F it. Let's roll the dice. There you go. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings trade up to 3 for Jayden Daniels in PFF Steve's latest mock draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts and his thoughts in the comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.